Hello everyone! Today I will be sharing with you how to grow pumpkins with a focus on pumpkin flower pollination. Let's go! Pumpkins are relatively easy to grow. They require lots of sun, water, and a large space. Each plant can branch up to 3 or 4 vines, and each vine can spread about 4 to 5 meters before bearing flowers and fruits. Remember in my last loofah video where I talked about the complex compound cucurbitacin, which is responsible for the bitterness in loofah? Well, apparently it will also be present in a stressed pumpkin plant. So avoid planting them during the dry season. I just planted my pumpkin on a hugelkultur bed. You can click on this video at the end to learn about hugelkultur. Just like loofah, pumpkin plant is also monoecious. That means the male and the female flower exist on the same plant. Before we pollinate, let's learn the difference between a male and a female pumpkin flower. So here's the female flower with the stigma in the center and a bulb beneath the flower. And here's the male flower with an anther in the center and without the bulb beneath the flower. Female flowers have nectar, whereas male flowers have both pollen and nectar. If the pollen falls off the anther when you touch it, that means the pollen is ready for pollination. I'm gonna put both of them together now. You can see the female flower is much larger than the male, and the female flowers only appear after the male flowers bloom. So don't worry when you don't see any female flowers in the beginning. Pumpkin flowers bloom early in the morning before the sun rises over them, and this is where the pollen is at its freshest, and the female flower is in full bloom. So the earlier you pollinate them in the morning, the higher the success of pollination. To pollinate them, pick the male flower and bring it to the female flower. Tear off the petals of the male flower and gently brush the anther to the stigma. You will be able to see pollen coming off the anther and sticking onto the stigma. Once that's done, nature will do the rest. During the pollination period, I faced 3 problems. Number 1, it happened before that I only had 1 female flower blooming one morning, and there were no male flowers to be seen. And sometimes it's the other way around. To overcome this, I've learned to plant at least 4 pumpkin plants so that there will be an abundance of both flowers at each time. Number 2, if it rains in the morning, my male flowers would be ruined, and I can't do much about it. Some people recommend freezing your male flowers the night before in the freezer when you know your female flower is blooming the next day. This didn't work for me, but maybe it could work for you. Number 3, my male flowers are attacked by larvae that fed on the anther of my male flower. Interestingly, they left my female flower alone. I'm suspecting this is the larvae of a fly. I shall catch some and keep it in a container for further observation. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what it is and if you have this same problem. You will be able to know whether your pumpkin was successfully pollinated 2 days later. Here is what a successful pollination looks like. The fruit will stay green after 2 days, and if you try squeezing it with your fingers, you can feel that the bulb is firm to the touch. On the contrary, here's what a failed pollination looks like. The fruit turns slightly yellow and will fall off the stem easily. And if you squeeze it, you can feel the bulb relenting to the pressure. Pumpkins grow really fast after pollination. They can grow as much as 1 centimeter a day. The factors of the size depends on the breed of pumpkin you have, the soil, and also the robustness of pollinating activity. Do you know that bees are excellent pollinating agents for pumpkins? The whole reason I have to pollinate my pumpkin is because the bees that are supposed to pollinate them are absent in my area. Pumpkin pollen are big and bees are built for it. I'm now going to plant more flowers to attract more bees to my area and see whether that will help my pumpkin pollination in the next season. And hopefully, I won't have to do manual pollination anymore in the future. If you have to do manual pollination as well, try planting more flowers with nectar because they provide food for the bees and this will attract them to your area. Do you know that pumpkin flowers can be eaten too? As I said earlier, once I had many male flowers and no female flowers in sight. Out of curiosity, I pick and cook the flowers. I tried pumpkin flower tempura and also stir fry with egg. They don't have much taste to them. On hindsight now, I probably should have left them as food for the bees. Pumpkins take about 3 months to grow and another month to fully ripen. Once your pumpkin has started changing its color, you would be very tempted to harvest it. However, if you harvest before the vine has wilted and died, you will end up with a bland and tasteless pumpkin. Here is an example of a pumpkin being harvested too early. This pumpkin is still green on the top half of it, but I was too impatient and harvested it earlier. The flesh was pale orange and it looked dry. When I cooked it, it tasted bland. On the contrary, I waited for this pumpkin to wilt completely before harvesting. The skin had turned mostly orange with just a tinge of green. Here is what it looks like on the inside. You can see the flesh was moist, and when I cooked it, it tasted sweet. That's all in this video today. I hope you give it a go in planting your own pumpkins. If you find value in my video, please support me by clicking on the subscribe button, like my video, and click the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.